Part 4, Chapter 2 of Short History of the Christian Church by John Fletcher Hurst. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 2, The Order of Jesuits. The Society of Jesus, or the Order of Jesuits, was the most powerful and far-reaching counteracting agency adopted by the Roman Catholic Church in this great crisis. It originated in the purpose to compensate in distant lands for the losses at home. But, secondarily, the order proposed to operate in all countries, even in the midst of those most intensely Protestant. The founder, Ignatius Loyola, born in Spain, 1491, was a soldier by profession, but, being wounded in battle, gave himself to religious meditation, and resolved upon establishing a new order, the Society of Jesus. He was general of the order. The members pledged themselves to poverty, chastity, and the will of the pope. The order was confirmed by Paul III in 1540. Its avowed object was the care of the sick and the salvation of souls. The members divided themselves into the professing, the coadjutors, the scholastics, and the novices. They laid down as their ethical creed the doctrine of probabilism, mental reservation, the sanctification of the means by the end, and the distinction between theological and philosophical disobedience. This system was defended by their strong writers, Toletus, Vasquez, Sanchez, Suarez, and Bussenbaum. Their political creed was the power of the people. They cultivated the republican element, and brought themselves frequently into collision with the rulers of the countries where they labored. The opposition to the Jesuit order arose among such rulers as found their authority and succession endangered by it. The climax was reached by the order about the beginning of the 18th century. The kings arrayed themselves against it, and the papacy was won over to their support. Benedict XIV. Began an attack on it, and Clement XIII. Suppressed it first in Portugal, where the Jesuits were banished in 1759. In France they were banished 1764, in Spain 1767, and in the Sicilies and Parma in 1767-68. In Germany there was no direct suppression, but the friends of the order were surrounded with serious limitations. In 1773, by the brief of Clement XIV., the order was abolished as a menace to the Church. But Pius VII. Restored it in 1814 by a decree Solicitudo Omnium Ecclesiarum. The order speedily extended into various countries. The late Pius IX. Was devoted to its interest, and gave it great prestige. The Jesuit missions were rapidly organized. The military character of the order, and the disposition to follow the lines of commerce, led it into all fields. A network was rapidly spread over Austria, Bavaria, Poland, the Baltic provinces, Sweden, and Great Britain. But these home missions were not of the striking character of the foreign ramifications. The lands of the long prostrate Eastern Church received early attention. Pius IV. Authorized Christopher Roderick, in 1562, to establish a mission among the Copts of Egypt. The Armenians also received prompt attention. The Nestorians had been divided, and their unsettled condition was an attraction to the order. Syrian scholars espoused their cause, but the mission failed despite all efforts. Abyssinia was also visited, where a mission under Barredas, with 2 bishops and 10 Jesuits of inferior orders, was begun in 1554. This endeavor also failed because of the opposition of the Abyssinian kings. The commerce of the Portuguese in Eastern Asia led to an important Jesuit mission in the new lines of trade. Francis Xavier landed at Goa, in India, in 1542. Bassein in the north and Goa in the south became the great distributing centers. Many churches were built around the western coast of India, and many thousands of the natives were baptized. Japan became an important field of Xavier's labors, where 40,000 natives were baptized in 6 years. China was also visited, and became a strong mission under Xavier's successors. The conditions for baptism were easy. A slight disposition for renouncing heathenism was required. Many idolatrous practices were still permitted. Educational facilities for indoctrinating in the new faith were liberally provided. The Jesuits were successful in the Philippine Islands, but failed in the Carolines. The beginning of the Jesuit mission to Brazil was made by King John III of Portugal, who sent over Emmanuel de Nobrega and 4 other priests. Peter Clave labored in the Spanish provinces of South America, where 300,000 negroes were baptized by him alone. The Paraguayan missions were very successful. Whole tribes were grouped into missions. The Guaranis were brought in by multitudes. From 30,000 to 40,000 families of these were organized into 32 towns. The order now moved northward, but with no loss of energy. It had a mission in Florida in 1566, and by 1570 had another in Chesapeake Bay. Florida was abandoned, Mexico offering a more inviting field. Here Cuno began in 1683. The French possessions of Canada were overspread with a network of Jesuit laborers. The whole line of the St. Lawrence was followed westward, which met the missionaries following the Mississippi River from its mouth to its headwaters. From Mexico a chain of missions was extended northward along the Pacific coast, which extended as far as the Columbia River. But all known lands felt the impress of the tireless Jesuit missionary feet. An admiring poet, Levi Bishop, thus describes the boundless map of his labors. With all his faults, from pole to pole he spreads the truth and feeds the human soul. In Ethiop, on Chilean Mount Sublime, in Paraguay, in Congo's sunny clime, in Bactriana and in China far, in Japan's thousand isles, in Kafrara, in California, on the Amazon, in Australasia, by the Oregon, in Nouvelle France, in Aztec Mexico, in Iceland chill, and wheresoe'er we go, to earth's remotest bounds we find him there. As a propagating force, the Jesuit order is the most powerful piece of ecclesiastical machinery ever organized by the Roman Catholic Church. Its methods have varied with the environment. The members have operated apart from diocesan limitations. The authority for their work, and for their field of operation, comes directly from the Pope. No bishop can interfere with the exercise of their work. The recuperative power of the order is an historical marvel. Banished or imprisoned today, tomorrow it is again on the march, and powerful alike in the audience halls of kings and emperors. The repressive measures adopted by Germany, under the lead of Bismarck, after the close of the Franco-German War in 1871, were in due time revoked. The full favor now enjoyed by the Roman Catholic Church in the German Empire is, most likely, due largely to the careful and untiring labors of this order. The present sympathy between the imperial court in Berlin and the papal court in the Vatican is an anomaly in ecclesiastical history. The Roman Catholic members in the German Parliament were needed to secure a majority for larger military armaments. The price to be paid was the old liberty to Romanism in Germany. The bargain was made, and has been kept. Among the most conspicuous objects of the Jubilee celebration of the present Pope's entrance into the priesthood was the new tiara, resplendent with precious stones. It was the gift of the Protestant Hohenzollern, the late Emperor William, to the friend of the Jesuit order and the representative of Roman Catholic authority, Pope Leo XIII., and was worn by the latter on this memorable occasion of his official career. End of chapter 2.